And a welcome here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. We appreciate you being here with us Monday through Friday between 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And of course, it is my honor, my privilege to be here inside of these Great Lakes Honda City Studios as Great Lakes Honda City, our exclusive studio partner, comes to you on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. You could find them for sales and service open Monday through Saturday, and you can get a sneak peek of all of their inventory by going to GreatLakesHondaCity.com. With that being said, inside of MonPazPopcorn.com's What's Poppin', giving you a list of topics for this broadcast and our guests. We have coming up first an all-new exclusive Bobcat Buzz featuring Antonio Costa joining us from the wonderful country of Brazil, and he'll be joining us this morning, also of the Bryant and Stratton College Bobcats of Syracuse, in our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with Bryant and Stratton. We have the opportunity to bring you the Bobcat Buzz every single month, and we'll be here doing that this morning, speaking on the men's soccer season as we head into the 2025 campaign. We'll also be joined in hour number 2 in our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with Binghamton University. We will be featuring head coach of the men's soccer squad down in the Southern Tier for Binghamton, as Paul Marco joins me to speak on recruiting and scheduling as news has just come out for their 2025 season and beyond. And we'll round out the show as we always do with the ingredients to success on a Tuesday, proudly presented by Avicolli's. The ingredients to success topic for today is your inner voice, and you can go to Avicolli 7 days a week on 7839 Oswego Road in Liverpool, New York. We thank everybody listening up and down the East Coast, the Midwest, the West Coast, and all around the globe to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, including everyone who's listening and watching Antonio here from Brazil that are an hour ahead on youtube.com and facebook.com, both /WakeUpCallDT and on wakeupcalldt.podbean.com. So however you're connected with the show, we appreciate you being here Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And with that being said, our guest of the first hour here, Antonio Costa, the goalkeeper of the Bryant and Stratton Syracuse men's soccer team for the Bobcats. Antonio, how are we doing today?
I'm doing great. It's always a pleasure to have you hosting me today. And this is very reciprocal, like the caring I have with you and vice versa. So it's great to be here today.
Well, and it's my honor, Antonio, and I know we had the opportunity to talk, last season going into the season and whatnot, and we were on the field, and now we get to talk a little bit sooner going into this 2025 season, and I always appreciate, my time with you and being able to talk with you and getting to know you here and share your story, so I thank you for that. What did you take away from last season now that you've had enough time to look back on it? What were the memories that you took and maybe some things to help you build toward this season?
So first of all, as we know, we always talking with the teammates that the season goes by so fast. Like it's like 3-4 months that we think is gonna last, longer, but actually it goes by so fast. So I always try to tell the guys like to enjoy every single time, every single practice, every single game. So that's the first point I would make. But last season was a tough season because we lost in the finals. But I think those experiences makes you tougher. You know what I'm saying? So we coming like for this upcoming season, like with a different mind. That like in the finals, everything are different. Like when you get to the nationals, like during the season, we have to shift. Like okay, we won semifinals, we gotta shift to the finals. Not arriving there like thinking that we have won something already. But it was a season of a lot of teachings, experience because it was the first time we arrived in the finals like in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
And then we were very confident with the team. Like we had an amazing team. Like the guys, like the defense was great. The midfield, the strikers, were doing a great job. I had like 4 or 5 guys that were like all American, including me. But it was like like something we didn't expect, like a knockout, if I could say. Like it was one of those days that you try everything, but nothing works. But if I could take like something for the season, it's like I would say if I would describe in a word, is like resilience.
Yeah. Well, like you said, I mean, you went to the national tournament and maybe had that thought that you had won something already, right? So you go there
Yeah.
as a team with a mentality of, we're the best team here, or we're gonna take care of business and whatnot. And then you said it felt like a knockout. Was the team, in your opinion, was that kind of the vibe of it? Was, we got this, we got it in the bag, we're gonna win it, it's not a big deal. I mean, was that kind of the mentality that you felt from last season, as opposed to maybe respecting the opponent?
So like we always respect the opponents, but of course we believe in our work.
Yeah.
So we always gonna think that we're gonna arrive in the field, we're gonna press them, we're gonna start hard. But some games we actually didn't do that. We started playing like later, like with the pressure, with the tension. But then why it's sometimes sort of normal. Like for example, when you get some consecutive victories, you feel like you're like Superman. So one thing that Coach Nick said last year was that like we you had like the USA basketball team, like the redemption team.
Yeah.
So that was kind of the vibe that we're last year. Like this redemption team that after losing a couple finals, not arriving in the finals, 2023 would be the redemption team that was gonna get the national title and bring it back to Syracuse.
And so from last year, like you said, I mean, you go out there, you believe in what you can do, you believe in what this team is capable of, in your preparation and all that. You said you learned resilience last year. To make it to the national tournament is great. To make it to the championship game is even better, but you want to be able to hoist that title. When that didn't happen last season, what did you learn about yourself?
So I always take the great guys as like something like I could see on myself, like for example a mirror. So for example, Bryant, Cristiano, so LeBron. So they always think on the next step. So of course, like for example, that day was very sad, but it was time to flip the page and already think on what was coming next. So my preparation already started since that day for this upcoming season. So in terms of mind, so I always like to set goals, even like for trainings, for season, or what I want to achieve in my life. So
Yeah.
was that flip on the page that I needed to make on that day. Like was like I won't lie because I was like 1 week like I couldn't do anything. Like I was very sad with the defeat.
Yeah.
But was hard. But we had to move on and set new goals, and for the future.
And like you said, I mean, you kept yourself focused as soon as that ended. I know you said you felt it a little bit, but you were focused on this season. And I know that you've been working hard. You've been out there doing a lot of different things. Just let everybody know what you've been doing since the end of last season to where you are right now. I know you had a workout on the beach today, but you've kept yourself busy over these last few months. And I'd love for you to share what that journey has been like in preparation for 2025.
And so I took the spring season. We were off season to gain some more weight. So also to be more powerful in the capabilities that you have to use in the field as a goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Like to be strong in there, come off high of my line, to play longer balls. So I've been working on and off the field, snowing or with the sun. I had a few guys with me, that were like some people thought I was crazy, like to go work out on the snow, all this stuff. But the guys that came with me are even crazy to accept the idea, with me.
Yeah.
But I always try to, work out like I couldn't go to we didn't have something at the field. So go to the gym, work on like reaction. So work on mental area. So that's the most important thing for me, like to be good in the mind. Because, like goalkeeping like 90%, 80% mental, and then 20% physical. It's a lot of up and downs. So ever since the end of the season, I've been working on and off the field.
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, to gain some weight and to put yourself in a better position this season, do you feel better? Does it, I mean, has it already kind of come out and you saying, like, I went out there and I'm going to train in the snow, I'm going to train when it's nice outside. Have you felt that already up to this point?
Oh yes, yes. So I train to have an athletic body. Of course, it's good to have like a good physique, like a well shape and all this stuff. But I want to perform well. So even though like I gain some weight, you can look well, but at the end, it's all about performance. So everything I do, explosiveness, agility, all this stuff. At the end, it's all for performing on the field. So also with the gym, it comes like goalkeeping, workout stuff, and also with the team. So it all like complements each other. So it's like a triangle with connections that's gonna, at the end bring the result I want.
Antonio Costa here with us this morning on the Bobcat Buzz and our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with Bryant and Stratton College of Syracuse here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. Antonio, we look at all the background stuff that's going on in the preparation from last season. In the foreground, a new coach was hired, Stu Flaherty. What made you stay and believe in Coach Stu? Because obviously when Nick Dimitrievsky stepped away and went on to go down to Florida, when he made that decision, that can leave a team in flux. It can leave a team wondering what's going to happen next, and it can send some guys transferring out. What made you stay to hear Coach Stu's message, and why ultimately did you believe that message?
As you said, it was like a shock for everyone. We didn't expect that. So everyone was like shocked to like we didn't know what's gonna happen in the future. But a few weeks later, this guy, like Coach Stu, awesome guy, he arrived. Like I was, very clear with him, with my plans for the future.
Yeah.
My what I expect as well from the college and all this stuff. So one thing that I believe that is one of the most important things of a man is the word. So he was very sincere with me. He told me, he would help me with whatever I would need and on and off the field if I showed him that I really wanted. So that's what I've been doing for the past 2 years and won't be different now. But I believe on his work, as that was one of the main things that made me stay. I believe on his work in general.
Yeah, and he did something that I hadn't seen, and I want to ask you about this, is that not only was there off-season training, but it was like immediate. As soon as he got hired and got onto campus, there was this immediate workout regimen that was happening. He was covering it on social media. Did you typically have a workout that we didn't see? Well, I mean, and this is kind of where what I'm thinking when I saw it was, is this a new workout or a new regimen and it's being on social media? Or did you always have a workout regimen before Stu that just wasn't shown on social media?
Right. When was Coach Nick, we had just like 2 trainings practice per week, but wasn't like workout with gym facility or stuff. So Coach Stu is trying like to implement us with like what does the like professional soccer players actually work out like?
Yeah.
So he doesn't want us just to play like that season and that's it. So he wants more than that. So the preparation during the spring, he advised us to play in the summer. He wants us to be fit, when we are having preseason already, to be ahead of other people. So this spring workout was fantastic. Like we have like goals to achieve. Everyone pushing each other. Like you see, like the guys working hard on and off the field with what they eat, like how guys like started reading books, like some talks that were kind of different. The environment changed, like for good. So besides this area of like workouts, I think one of the biggest strengths of him is like this mental area. Like he wants us. He always gives us these like mental tricks and like mental advices, if I could say, that help us a lot of the field.
Yeah, and that's something that him and I have spoken about. The advice and to have that positive mental message, to have the beyond sports, looking at life, looking at faith, looking at what matters to you, what can truly help you take care of yourself. Have you seen that in your life personally, that being around Coach Stu and the positive energy and the focus on mental health and mental awareness, can you already see that in your life creating more positivity for you?
Yes, yes. So I always say that you don't want to arrive in the season and then start creating good habits. So it's like a lifetime progress, So as soon as he gave like the start, I always liked the area, like of mental area, all this stuff. But when you have somebody that's like a specialist on the area, it becomes much easier. So I just kept going on my search, So even spiritual and mental. So it was very the same thing.
Yeah, and like you said, the spiritual and the mental side of things with Coach Stu, how would you describe his personality? Like if someone had never met Stu Flaherty, you see him walk into a room and how he is in that room, how would you describe his personality?
He's not what he looks like. I'd say that. Uh, how the I okay? Let me find out. Word. He's a tough guy too. He looks like a good guy too. Like, but when he's serious, like when he's serious work, like when it's that the time of like to show this stuff, he's a tough guy. But he's also a funny guy. He always like creating a good environment with everyone, like talking to everyone. When we arrive in the field, so that's the vibe like he's bringing to the team. Like for us to be a group. Like
Yeah.
because one player, like with one player, a good player, you can make like you can wanna win a game or other, but with a good group, you can win the championship. So I think that's what he's building.
And to bring it all together, I know some of you guys are obviously coming back and he's trying to put some pieces in and implement some new guys as well. You said with a good player you can win a game, right? But with a full team you can win a championship. What can you say about the culture and the environment of the Bobcats men's soccer team now? And do you feel like there's more of a connection, more of a working together for this upcoming season?
Yes, yes. We can see the difference even in practices and on our first few games of the spring season was like people running for you. So even me, I say to the guys that if I need to sprint full field for you guys, I'm going to sprint for you. So I expect the same. So it's nice to see that somebody's gonna run for you when you need. He's gonna put the head on the ball. He's gonna slide tackle. Gonna like give everything on the field. So the guys are getting this idea that we had already in the past, but now it's just like even stronger. So no complaints, just work as a team.
Yeah, and I think last season, there was moments, and you could speak to this better than I can, but there were moments where, I mean, obviously the team was talented, and there's a lot of guys out there that know how to play soccer, but it didn't always seem like everybody was together and that they were all connected. So you feel more of that now, like you said, when you've been in these scrimmages and practices and whatnot. You feel like guys are playing for each other, and it's about the collective and not just the individual stats.
Yes, yes. Of course, everyone wants to to show their work, but when you play as a team, the team in general makes like the like makes everything looks better. Like so. We also want to play a good soccer. So people who is watching like look, okay, this team, have connections. This team actually work together. Besides, just talent. Of course, we have a lot of talent in our team, but that playing together is what makes the difference.
Yeah, and seeing that this upcoming season, definitely excited to see what it's going to look like as this team gets closer and closer together. Speaking of getting closer together and your teammates, Jesse decided to stay, and so did Jano. Just what you could say about, I had the opportunity of speaking with, being around Jesse in the past. Obviously, Jano and Johnny Zamora, when he was on the team last season before he finished up, I got to speak with the three of you last year going into the season. But to have Jono back and to have Jesse back, just what that means for the team in your opinion.
So I've been with Jono, since my first year. So we're going for our third year. So we have a good connection. He's in front of me in the defense. So it's great. Also, he has a good leadership role on the team. Always, bringing the guys up, helping. He's like a warrior. And then Jesse, he's an awesome guy too. He's fantastic. He has fantastic skills. He runs a lot for the team. And then, it's always good to have those players, that play for the team and then, also are talented. That what's the best for the team on and off the field.
Yeah, and getting that band back together, good for this season. You're a goalkeeper, so you're in between those two pipes, and you are obviously playing your game the best way that you know how. I think it's an incredible thing. I mean, to be anywhere on the soccer field, I respect it, but there's something about being a goalkeeper. You have to read people, understand people. And so maybe it comes down to watching film. Maybe it comes down to gut instinct. Maybe it comes down to just, trusting what you've been trained to do and what you know how to do. But to me, it is such a difficult thing because you're guarding the goal, but you have to anticipate people. You have to be ready for anything. You have to be able to jump. You have to be able to dive. You have to be able to stretch your body out, be able to get high, get low, and know if you're going to go left or right. How do you know how to do this job? Because I think some people, they get in goal as a kid and they're like, okay, well, you just got to keep the ball out of here. And they go, all right, and they think it's easy. But when you look at the game of soccer and you look at the goal and what a goalkeeper has to do, you have to put your body on the line and you have to be willing to do a million different things. I would consider it Mr. Fantastic, since Fantastic Four is coming out soon, that you have to be able to stretch and put your body everywhere. So how did you become Mr. Fantastic, I guess is what I'm asking.
So ever since I know me as a kid, as a person, I always wanted to be a goalkeeper. So growing up with the big goal was, very, small. I have this history that I always say that my aunt was my coach in the middle school. So when I was like 6, 7, I always wanted to be a goalkeeper, but I was very small. So my mom always told her, hey, put this guy to be a striker, to be a midfielder or something. He's going to give me money in the future. Goalkeeper doesn't give money. But, besides this joke, I've always wanted to be a goalkeeper. I don't know, it's something that I'm just born with. So besides, the talent, all this stuff that you have, it's a lot of work too. So to get the level that I'm at right now, I had to work a lot, years, technique, improving the technique. Also, trusting the feeling, because sometimes on the field, there's a, close ball, you just have to read to anticipate the guy, as you said. So goalkeeping is like, you can make tons of saves. Then you get scored a goal, you're like a trash, you didn't deserve to be on that position. But it's a lot of resilience to be a goalkeeper as well. So if I would say it's a lot of work. Like we are the first one that arrive on the field, we are the last one to leave the field. So we have to be, we can make mistakes. So we have to be always ahead of everyone.
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, you could block a ton of shots coming your way, and then you miss one of them, and there's that criticism. How do you handle that? How do you handle that criticism where you could say there's 20 shots on goal, 25 shots on goal, and you stop them all. Then the 21st, 26th, 30th shot, whatever it may be, goes in. And they look at you and say, how could you let that happen? I mean, how do you deal with that? Because, you know, typically, right, if you're a good goalkeeper, your percentage is going to be high, right? You're going to stop more than you don't. So when a goal does happen, when something does get by you, and there is all that criticism, how do you handle that?
So even the criticism and the good words, you have just to, okay, just, you know, forget and flip the page. So goalkeeper is this. So we always flipping the page. We made a good save, next one.
Yeah.
You gave up a goal, next one. So even my advice for, you know, even for players, you make a bad pass, forget it, next one. Because if you take both, even the criticism and like the good words that they are saying, like you're a fantastic goalkeeper, you are doing an amazing job, you're gonna think that you are more than you are, or you're gonna think that you are less than you actually are. So it's always this playing with the mind that is gonna keep you at this like moving on.
Yeah, like you said, you gotta keep it going, whether it's positive or negative. Have you always been that way? Have you always had the ability, whether somebody's promoting you and talking highly of you or critiquing you, have you always been able to kind of keep the outside noise outside, whether it's good or bad? Have you had that tool in your toolbox, so to speak, or did you have to gain that at some point in your career?
So that was developed. So I'll say that everything that I have right now is all developed. My body, my mental strength, you know, this ability as well to move on, and my technique. So I'm let's say there is Messi, there is talent, and there is Cristiano. So I would say I'm Cristiano. You know, like I have worked on myself over the years to get what I have right now. So some people, you know, like I use it to play like in environments like, you know, with crowds, all this stuff. I grew up, you know, in these environments, so I had no pressure. But then I had a knee rupture, so I tore my ACL.
Yeah.
Then, you know, I stayed like over a year without playing. So then it like I had no confidence at all to play. So with that, I had to rebuild again my confidence. So it was, you know, a process. There was a lot of developed in a lot of practices, games as well, and at home.
And like you said, you know, a process of doing that, something that you had to learn over time. When you look back on who you were versus who you are right now, what are you most proud of as you step into the 2025 season, from the first time you stepped on to a soccer field to this moment right now, how you've grown and how you've become the person that you are today? What are you most proud of?
I'm most proud of inspiring people. So I always like to, like whoever is around me, to, you know, even if it is one advice or like a good thing that I have, you know, a good habit or a good, you know, advice, as I said, I want that, you know, they remember this from me, because at the end, that's all that stays, you know, like you being a nice teammate in general. So I'm most proud of this. Of course, like I like my achievements, but the person Antonio, that what remains at the end.
And that person, Antonio, how would you describe who you are to those that may not know you and they just see you walking down the street? What would you want them to know about who you are as a man and not just a soccer player?
So Antonio, it's a guy who knows what he wants. He knows where he is. He knows where he's going. He's a funny guy when needed, but he's also a hard worker, athlete, a Christian, so son of God. So you know, I could spend a few more minutes talking about myself, but those are the main things that I believe. If I could describe myself, that's who I am.
Yeah, and we talk about, you just mentioned your faith, and I know that that's something important to you. It's something very important to me. I told you I've never been out to Brazil, but I want to come out there and I want to be able to see what life is like out there because it looks absolutely beautiful. There is a monument dedicated to Jesus Christ known as Christ the Redeemer that every
Yeah.
picture that you can see looks absolutely incredible. What is it like to see this thing, to see this image of God and this representation of God in your country?
So in Brazil, like we, being a Christian, it's like uh, it's like something you are everywhere. So like you go to the churches, you have this representation of God, and also the most famous one, Christ the Redeemer. So when you go to Rio, it's this amazing structure that it's on like above, I don't know how many meters, but it's great to have this. Like when people look to Brazil, to have an image of God, like where they can say, okay, this country is a country of God, country of Christ. So it's good to be remembered for that.
Yeah, it's incredible. Christ the Redeemer, it was completed in 1931. It's approximately 100 feet tall, 30 meters, with a total height of 125 feet, 38 meters, if you include the base of this beautiful image to show God how much it's appreciated. You said in Brazil that being Christian, it's like it's part of the culture. It's part of the country and whatnot. How beautiful is that to you that faith isn't hidden and that it's something that is appreciated, respected, and honored, right? It's something that, in Brazil, it's promoted. So what does
Yeah.
that mean to you when you go home and being a Christian, it's not something that's frowned upon? And I ask that question fully knowing that you're in America playing for Bryant and Stratton, Syracuse, and this was a country that talked about God all the time and talked about Christ and promoted it. This country has kind of lost its way a little bit. So when you go home, do you feel like you could take a breath of fresh air and say like, okay, this is how it's supposed to be?
So it's awesome to have like that seed planted ever since you are like young, because you're gonna have that word in your heart, even though you're not let's say you are not exercising it. When you grow up, sometimes you get lost, but at the end you are always gonna come back to the Father. So when you have that seed planted, I think it's much easier to reach and to grow, and to give fruit to other people. So I say that because I believe that our purpose here is like to serve people as well, like what we have. So the good news that Jesus came to like to spread on the world. So that's what we expect here. But in America as well, like I always try, like I haven't tried much to go to the church, because we have a lot of stuff, like
Yeah.
a lot of practices, all this stuff. Sometimes you don't have much time, like to practice it. But like always try to do a devotional at the the dorms and everything. But it's always great to come home because you meet the friends you grow up with. Like you see they strong in their faith. So like my grandma is also very a woman of faith. So it's awesome.
And like you said, I mean, having that and having that since you were younger, what do you love the most about your relationship with God?
Uh, I like we all know like that we fail a lot, but it's like every time you need him, you're gonna have him there. It's not just because like you are needing at that time him, but it's always nice. Like for example, you're gonna wake up at 3 a.m. Like you can talk to him. So I think that connection that you build, the chemistry, to get to know him, like to get to know who you actually are, not only being like superficial. That's like how deep you can go.
Yeah, like you said, to get to know him and to get to that personal relationship, right? That you have beyond everything, beyond your faith, that personal relationship. When you've had to lean on God, and I know that we all do that a lot, is there a moment recently where you leaned on the Lord and you can kind of speak to maybe what that did for you?
So I always try, like, for example, everything that I do, I always like to praise Jesus for that. So for example, I'm being an athlete. I'm playing on His name. It's not for me at the end. So my purpose is not only to be an athlete, to be famous. Of course, it's good to be known by what I do, but that's not my purpose at the end. So my purpose is, like, if I'm famous, I'm gonna speak about Him. If I have an opportunity, I'm gonna talk about Him. So at the end, it's just like gonna help, like, to it's to help people's lives. So at the end of my life, I wanna think that how many people's pain have I helped to relieve. So that's what I think.
And doing something like you said, to relieve people's pain, to be there for other people, you want to make a difference in that respect, and you want to utilize who knows you and who's connected with you in doing that. How do you do that? What is in the life of Antonio Costa that you try to, on a daily basis, relieve others' pain, be there for people? What do you do to show them God in your own way?
I think God can be shown in a lot of ways, but, like, the main one, I think it's like serving. Like, even the basic things on your house, you can clean, show some love by cleaning some stuff, by serving, like making a food, or helping something that you're gonna see that your mom's gonna be overwhelmed, or like chatting with a friend, like listening to his pain, or whatever. Like, you go out, you help people, like, with food, but not only with physical food, that is, of course, is important, but, like, can give some piece of advice, like, talk to people, understand their pain, understand why they are in the situation. So that's what I believe in general.
That coming here from Antonio Costa here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Before we jump in to rapid fire, you are down in Brazil right now. Share with everybody what part of Brazil you're from.
So I'm from Recife. It's on the northeastern coast of Brazil. You see the map, top right. We have beautiful coasts, beaches. It's amazing food. So that's Brazil. That's my city.
So being at home in your city, favorite thing that you do when you're home, favorite thing that you eat when you're home.
Oh, I was gonna say that I love to eat here, but I love to be at the beach. I love to go, get some sun, enjoy the sea. And then I have two things that are my favorite.
Okay.
Churrasco is like a barbecue, like in the Brazilian way. And then açaí. So açaí is like a fruit in Brazil, and then, like, there is like an ice cream of it. So it's fantastic.
Yeah, I can I mean, I know I told you off the air and on the air how much I want to come down and get to experience it. I will say this. I know you're going to laugh when I say this, and I'm not trying to get you in trouble, but I worked with a lot of Brazilians when I worked at Walt Disney World. And ironically, we worked at Epcot, and Epcot's all about, all different countries and whatnot. The women in Brazil are absolutely, it's ridiculous how beautiful they are. And I think you know that, and I'm not trying to get you in trouble, but I can't mention Brazil and not talk about the beauty that is in Brazil.
Yeah. Yes, not only the woman, but look at me, I'm one of the good experiences of Brazil.
I love that. That's got to be the quote of the week. Not only the women, but look at me, everybody. Come on the guy's side. What is it about Brazil? Is it the water? Is it what you all eat? I mean, why? What? Because when you see, and it's funny because Robin Williams talked about this too in his comedy Live on Broadway when he was saying, just how beautiful even the game of soccer is played by Brazilians, where it just looks effortless and it looks easy. So it's a two-part question. Why are so many people just absolutely beautiful and handsome from Brazil? And why is it so easy to play soccer? Is there something in the water? Are you injected with something when you're a baby? How does it happen that we have beauty and then this, like, effortlessness to play the sport of soccer, which Robin Williams so eloquently spoke about in his comedy of how it looks like you're almost dancing on the field, but it just looks easy to Brazilians. Why? Why is that?
So you read me like I was gonna say that the water that we drink here is different, but I think Brazil it's like for example we can be at the worst time of our lives, like we are happy, so I think the happiness with the real good food that we have here,
Yeah.
it's like the culture in general. That's what makes people that way because we have people from all over like the country, like the globe here. So sometimes you have a friend that is descendant in Italian and the father was let's say from England. So it's a lot of mix. So this mix was kind of good here in Brazil. It hit well.
Yeah, and I'm going to tell you this right now, and I'm totally fine saying this. You need to find me a Brazilian wife. That's what we need to do. that's
Yo, be careful.
Be careful.
They're dangerous.
Be careful. Why? They're dangerous. You said.
No, some of them are dangerous. If you find a good Christian one,
yeah,
it's gonna be good for you. But if not, they're dangerous.
Yeah. Hey, listen, it's just like America. If they don't believe in God, it's terrifying. So Antonio Costa here. Let's get into, and I'm thinking of, the thing is I'm thinking of the actress from Blue Beetle that's from Brazil, and so that's why that's what comes to mind. But I'm going to go into rapid fire here with you this morning. Bobcat Buzz, our exclusive conversation with Antonio Costa, the goalkeeper that you will see this season for the Bryant and Stratton College Bobcats of Syracuse. Antonio, you get the first question. What do you have for me?
Okay, so what was like the first thing besides you said a woman that comes in your mind when it comes to like when you think of Brazil?
Yeah, so you said what is the first thing that comes to mind besides that, or what were you saying?
Yeah, besides that, when you think of Brazil.
All right, so when I think of Brazil, besides women, what comes to mind? Nothing. No, I'm kidding. So no, honestly, the first thing that comes no, the first thing that comes to my mind is, it's soccer. It's soccer, but it's the flag, because there was so many Brazilians that traveled to Walt Disney World that we had to have cast members at Disney that wear the green shirts with the Brazilian flag on it, and they have to literally like be there for translation and different things to be able to help out. So I think for me, I was exposed to Brazilian culture and people from Brazil a lot because I was working with them daily, and working at Epcot, it was like such a normal thing. So I think when I think of Brazil, I think of the language. My friend Priscilla, I said, can you teach me a word or two that sounds like a phrase that's like so beautiful that a woman would think it's something romantic, but it actually means nothing? And so she did. And keep in mind, folks, I'm a romantic. I also just like to kid around, so I didn't use this in a bad way. So I said, teach me something that I can like have a candlelit dinner. I'm at a nice restaurant. Girl's sitting across from me. I grab her hand, put her hand in my hand. I look her in the eye and I say this, and she thinks it's like, I love you. And so she taught me the word geladeira. And because if you say, think about it, now think about it, Antonio, think about it. Just hear me out. If the lights are low, right, and you got hand on hand and there's candle on the table, music playing in the background, you look at a woman and you just say geladeira. It sounds beautiful, but it means refrigerator. So she taught me like a few words that are really, really sweet. But yeah, so I would say the first thing that comes to mind are my friend Priscilla, for sure. And I would say working at Disney and learning some of the language. And I did speak Portuguese when I was in Italy. I did speak a little bit of Portuguese. So
okay.
Yeah.
We are everywhere, man. So you can't get away from us.
What'd you say?
We are everywhere. So like you're gonna find one of us somewhere else.
That's very true. Same thing about Italians. We are literally everywhere. So let me, and being Hispanic too, I guess we would say. So my question back to you: if you could run the country of Brazil, if you became its leader tomorrow morning, what's the first thing that you would do?
Okay, that was tough. Oh, I never thought of this. But what I'll do is I'll listen to people's like to people's pain and then like see what I could do with that, you know? Because we are like even though you see Brazil is also has also as every other country we have like the bad side, you know, like sometimes politics are a lot of like stealing, theft. So you know, of course we wanted to reduce that, but I wanted to listen to people's pain. That's what I'll do.
Listen to people's pain. Fantastic answer. Next question coming from you, Antonio. What's your next one for me?
So if you had a superpower, what would it be?
Oh man, if I had a superpower, what would it be? So this one, there's always two answers that come. They always stay with me. So it would be flight and teleportation. I have always
Mm,
felt a connection to angels, and it's very personal in my life. So I would say I'd want to have angel wings, and I'd want to be able to fly. And the second one is teleportation because I just love Nightcrawler from X-Men. And I think it's incredible to think that I could be here. Like I could just be sitting here with you in Syracuse and then picture Christ the Redeemer, close my eyes, and I'm in Brazil. So I think
yeah,
I
that would be
think
awesome.
yeah, that would be really cool. So I would say those two definitely. And, I mean, how cool would that be? You're like, "Hey, you want to do a workout on the beach today?" And I'm like, "Sure." And I just close my eyes and I'm there on the beach in Brazil and then I'm back here to do my show. So, that would be awesome.
That would be awesome. Yes.
My question back to you, if you had a neon sign that just flashed over your head everywhere you went and it was supposed to describe you in one sentence, what would it say?
Okay, so in one sentence, I would say, uh, I thought of a couple of them, but I would say, I am who he says I am.
Okay, why?
Because like as we spoke like about negative and also positive, like the things that goalkeeper facing doing like even like season trainings and from hearing from the crowd.
Yeah.
So no matter what is the noise that people are making, like even if it is positive or negative, so it doesn't matter to me. So if you know who you actually are in Christ, that's what matters at the end. If you have like that notion, okay, I am who He says I am. I know who I am. I know myself well.
Yeah.
So that's what I think. Like what people also should look for, and also that's our job as well. Like okay, you know that, but why not to tell people to help people to get to know themselves.
I love that. I am who he says I am. And remember that God says I am the great I am. So there's a lot to be said in that. Antonio
Yeah.
Costa, it went by way too fast. I feel like we didn't even get anywhere. So it's crazy how that's an hour. But I look forward to talking with you soon. We'll keep in touch. While you're in Brazil, you have an opportunity now to start like getting all I need is like headshots and names and we'll figure this out. We need to find myself a good Christian Brazilian woman so that when I come to visit you in Brazil, I got somebody to run with on the beach. So with that
I
being
got you. I got you.
what'd you say?
I got you. I'll show you some good ones.
All right, Antonio Costa here. Appreciate you as always. Antonio, you can find him this season inside of the goal for the Bryant and Stratton College Bobcats of Syracuse. One of the nicest people I've met, one of the kindest hearts and genuine people. So, Antonio, keep being you, keep being good. Thank you for your positivity and your good energy. and I can't wait to see what you're going to do this season with the team. But I'm very happy that you chose Bryant and Stratton College of Syracuse, and I always like talking with you. So thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, and also thank for the people that are watching that took this time. And I also felt like it was like 30 minutes. I just looked into my watch, I was like, oh, 1 hour. So that's when you see something is really good and it feels good. So thank you so much for the opportunity.
Of course, man. I appreciate you, and I'll talk to you soon, okay?
All right. Thank you.
Take care. That coming from Antonio Costa one more time here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. We're going to take a step aside here where sports meets life. Always great to speak with Antonio, and just a great person in our community here. So we look forward to what is to come here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. It's become an all-soccer show this morning, and I have no problem with that whatsoever, as Paul Marco will join us next. Binghamton University men's soccer head coach, following some scheduling and recruiting news. That's all coming up in inside of the Great Lakes Honda City Studios on Wake Up Call right after this.
Avicolli's restaurant, located on 7839 Oswego Road in Liverpool, New York, has been serving our community for decades. Your place to go for home cooking on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road is just minutes from Liverpool High School. And every single month, Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is on site, on location, with Liverpool sports, student athletes, coaches, and administration telling their stories throughout the year. We look forward to seeing you on site at Avicolli's for their casual pizza side, their fine dining, as well as their bar. And of course, you can order online at myavicollis.com. That's myavicollis.com. For takeout, delivery, and catering, call 315-622-5100. That's 315-622-5100. Come on into the neighborhood spot Avicolli's, open 7 days a week in Liverpool, New York. K9 Campground Dog Boarding is your home away from home for your furry-loving friends. Open 7 days a week with drop-off and pickup times in the morning and later on in the day and early evening. K9 Campground Dog Boarding is the spot to trust with your dog for short and long-term stays. Call 315-299-4013 for more information. That's 315-299-4013, and go to k9campground.com as well. That's KAMP ground.com, where you will find all of the information on their different cabins, which include the classic cabin, executive cabin, grand cabin, and luxury cabin. K9 Campground Dog Boarding, where your dog will have indoor and outdoor areas as well as their own private cabin for any size, any breed, as well as dogs with different needs. Dog parents and dogs alike choose K9 Campground Dog Boarding. Isn't that right, Lily? Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes.
And welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. Happy to be here with you where sports truly meets that thing called life. Can't thank you enough for tuning in Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And as we get set here to bring in Paul Marco for the Bearcat Breakroom special this morning in our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with Binghamton University, it is always my honor and my privilege to have Binghamton here with us weekly on Wake Up Call, and of course to be able to celebrate all that they bring to the table. And I'm so happy that we've gotten to speak about soccer this morning, from Bryant and Stratton College of Syracuse all the way down 81 now to Binghamton University with Paul Marco, and on the heels of some scheduling and recruiting news as we head toward the 2025 season. It's always great to have Paul on the show, and you can see the scarves, and we've spoken about these before. They're right behind him. Paul is one of my favorite people to talk to, and that is because he cares. He has built wonderful relationships. It matters how he treats people, and you can definitely see it and you can feel that energy. So, Paul, before anything else, I want to say thank you for being positive, for being kind, and for caring about other people and paying it forward.
Well, good morning to you. Thanks for having me on this morning.
Of course. Absolutely.
And what kind words. Yeah, just try to treat others the way I would want to be treated. Pretty
Absolutely.
simple.
Well, and the thing is like when I see your office, and I mean, it speaks to those relationships. It speaks to the bonds and the connections that you've had, because all of these scarves tell a story of people that you know and bonds that you have made. So for those that don't know, or maybe didn't see when we spoke a couple of years ago, to just share why it's so important for you to feature those scarves in your office.
So most of the scarves are games that I have gone to with family, with friends. Some of them are courses that I have taught, coaching education.
Yeah.
That one back here, the German scarf, is signed by all of the coaches that attended the first NSCAA International Diploma in Germany. And that was back in 2010. And then we did another one at the World Cup, which is one of the ones over here in 2014 in Brazil. So, yeah, there's a lot of scarves that tell a lot, but it's mostly about the game, about people. I think that you get true happiness from people, place, and purpose.
Yeah.
And here at Binghamton, I'm blessed that I work with some great people. I love my purpose here at the college. I enjoy the coaching moments with players, with other coaches. And then what a great place this is. So, yeah, pretty happy.
Yeah, like you said,
on a Tuesday morning in the middle of summer.
Yeah, and you said you've been all over the world, but you're happy to be in Binghamton. What is it about leading this men's soccer program at Binghamton University that is such a blessing and so rewarding for you?
I really like the process of, it's changed a little bit because now I can't say 17, 18-year-olds because sometimes we're bringing in 24-year-olds for the first time.
Yeah.
But I like that process, 17, 18-year-olds to 24 to 25-year-olds, and what that looks like, getting them ready for, the real world, because this educational institution, I mean, what a fantastic place we're at. Academically, it's thriving. The athletic department is thriving. And what those interactions are on the field, as well as the things, we just don't talk about soccer. We talk about academics. We talk about preparing them for what their careers will be like.
Yeah.
I really enjoy that process.
And like you said, you use the word thriving. You said, obviously academically thriving, athletically thriving. That's a word that comes with that uplifting energy. Why did you choose the word? Choose to use that word of thriving when it comes to Binghamton University on and off the field?
I guess I have that feeling whenever I'm on campus, or whenever I talk about the university. I mean, you walk onto campus and you see great facilities. You see a really nice campus. It's well groomed.
Yeah.
The landscaping is done well. I mean, the building I'm in, the event center, it's now an older building. I think 04 or 05 we moved in full time, but it looks immaculate. I mean, it's just a really great place. And then when you meet the people here on campus, just walking around, whether you're a guest, you kind of take on that vibe of engaging and inspiring. So yeah, I do. I feel things are thriving here on campus. I think the university has a great buzz about it. People talk about the academic reputation that we have, but I just think it's just a great place. Yeah.
And there's a lot to be said about what Binghamton has done over the years, and the championship side of things as well. Eugene Marshall the athletics director speaking on, a championship culture. And we've seen that. We have seen championships come through. We've seen a lot of success come through. When you look at the department as a whole, just what you can say to that side of it, the fact that there is winning in the classroom, there's winning on the fields and the courts and the pools and the tracks of life. We're coming off of a spring session here where we have seen multiple champions at Binghamton University athletically. Just what it's like to have that championship culture and what you get from having the leadership of Gene Marshall.
Gene has been fantastic. The guy that Gene replaces, Pat Elliott, and then Dennis we had as an interim. I think those two really kind of built the stage. So each of the athletic directors that we have really taken the department and the university, because I think that we've been in still an evolution time. We're not that old, Division One. We had a logo that was the Bearcat, and now we have the university moving in the B direction. We have a logo now that is very simple. It's tells you who we are. And I think that the B helps us bring together the Colonials that we had, as well as the Bearcats for Division One. But Gene has come in. We have talked about winning nearly in every interaction we have with him.
Yeah.
He's inspiring, engaging. You feel like he's in it with you. I think that's a great quality. We feel like there is an expectation for sure placed on coaches, players, staff. There's sports performance, sports medicine. Everybody's feeling like you want to achieve. And of course, I breathe that. So I'm in a natural environment.
Paul Marco here with me this morning, the head coach of the Binghamton Bearcats men's soccer program, in this edition of the Bearcat Breakroom in our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with Binghamton University here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. The 2025 schedule has come out. I get excited for moments like this, whenever there's a schedule release, because then I can look through this and anticipate it and be really into it. It makes me feel like the season's about to happen, which it really is. As we're here in July, it's not too far away. Your first matchup is going to be on the pitch at Chestnut Hill in Massachusetts against Boston College on the road on August 21st, which is about a month away. So when we look at the schedule here, and I'm looking at the non-conference, we see you at Boston College to start off the season. We see you in the nation's capital, Washington, D.C., at George Washington. And then your first home matchup at the Bearcat Sports Complex will be Mount St. Mary's out of Maryland and Hofstra back-to-back there. And then we'll see you on the road at Colgate, which is in Hamilton, not too far away. Then you'll be about an hour away at Lemoyne College. Iona will be back at home. Central Connecticut State will be on the road. And then we'll see matchups with Lafayette, with Cornell, with Bucknell, when we're looking at outside of the AEC. When you look at the non-conference schedule and assembling this, what can you say to this season's schedule, which features obviously a lot of Northeast connection here, features some opportunities in-state, and features you going to Chestnut Hill, Massachusetts to start off the season? So what can you say about 2025 non-conference?
We think we put together a fantastic schedule. We've got all different conferences in it. We tried to pick some opponents that would mirror or mimic some of our conference opponents. So we play a few teams that their style of play may help us prepare for certain opponents in conference.
Yeah.
We, of course, want to try to sleep in our own bed, so we want to try to play close opponents that are day trips. I think that some of those can help build some good rivalries. And then, we also get home and away with some of those opponents. The Boston College, that game will be a one-off game. We'll travel there. They gave us the university a great guarantee for us to come in and play them. But the George Washington game, that'll be a home and away, so we'll travel down there first, and then they'll come back to us the next year. And that's mostly how a lot of the Olympic sports work. You try to play home and away with a team, home one year and away the next, or vice versa.
Yeah, and like you said, building up this schedule, and I think it's great what you just spoke on here as far as playing chess and not checkers, to find not only good non-conference opponents, but finding non-conference opponents that mimic your in-conference opponents. Just what you can say to that element of it in the studying of not wanting to be too far away from home, making sure that these aren't, crazy long trips, but at the same time to really do your research and say, okay, if we play these teams in all these different conferences, these challenge us, it gets our name out there, it does a lot of things promotionally, but on the other side of it, we're going to play these teams that really mimic and parallel who we're going to see in conference. Just the multi-layered decision making that it comes when you look at your schedule, because I love the fact that you said we wanted to find teams that mimic what we see in conference.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's past performance, right? So you don't know how the team will play, but the coach's likes, what the coach, how the coach views the game.
Yeah.
I think that doesn't change much. You either view the game in one of two ways, really. You either view the game, if we score more goals than the opponent, we win. If we don't concede goals, can't lose. And you tend to, it's rare that you'll sit level. You'll always have a little, or I like to score goals. So I want to try and attack. I want to have the soccer ball. I want our groups to try to do that. We enjoy the ball. So we look for players who enjoy the soccer ball. And then there's this risk versus reward, right? Like, the more you play with the ball in your own half, the more risk you have of losing it and conceding a goal. The more you can play in the opponent's half of the field, higher up the field, the more there's a reward of getting a goal. So we try to find opponents that are similar. Maybe they bring in individual players who play similarly to certain teams in our conference. Some teams are direct in our conference, meaning they don't play the ball across the back much. Just when it goes wide, it goes forward.
Yeah.
So we have a couple of teams on our schedule that do that. But overall, I think I think all teams now, Division I, are very well coached. I think that teams are putting a lot of time and energy into men's soccer. They put a lot of time and energy into scouting their opponent and spying on their opponents. We have, of course, video of all the games, so you can watch every game that your opponent's playing before you that year, as well as previous years. So it is difficult to not know what you're going to see. That would just be laziness, if you don't know what's going to happen or what could happen.
Yeah, and I love that. Like you said, it's if you don't know in today's world, then it's laziness. Paul Marco here with us on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Paul, why do you continue to love your job? Some people, they love the sport, and then other things kind of get on them. We've seen NIL, transfer portal, realignment, who's in what conference, different changes that are being made, house settlement, all these things that are out of the control of a coach. And some coaches have stepped away during this time. Why, for you, is coaching still such a passion, something that you wake up and you love doing? Why is it continue to be a part of your lifeblood, so to speak?
I mean, coaching for me and soccer is, it's a necessity. It doesn't only give me purpose. I think that I wake up every day and get to pursue my passion. I am extremely passionate about coaching and soccer. I love the sport. All the other things that you're talking about, that's just noise. I just turn it down. It's like listening to a song. I want to hear it louder, I turn it up. I don't want to hear it, I change the channel. I think you can get caught up in all of the stuff that is happening, but I'm pretty adaptable. I've always been adaptable. I've always tried to see in soccer what could happen next and try to figure out how things are happening and what might be the next trend. So I feel the same way about what's happening in college athletics. I mean, obviously, we don't have the resources that, I had when I was at West Virginia. I mean, they're just two different schools, two different environments.
Yeah.
But all of the things that I may have had resource wise at West Virginia, at Binghamton, I have other resources different than maybe the monies that we might talk about now in NIL at some institutions. I don't really get caught up in what I don't have. I get absorbed with what we do have and what we could have. And I just try and focus my time in that. How can we make our players better every day? How can we take them someplace new every day, even when we're not together?
And what does that look like when you say, how can we take them someplace new every day, even when we're not together? How does that translate into reality of experience for your players?
I think I want the guys to know that even when we're apart, I'm with them. I'm available to them. That all the guys know that. All the guys know that they can reach out to me at any moment. I speak to them regularly. Yesterday, I talked to 4 different players. Today, I'll probably talk to another 4 or 5. That's just on a rotating cycle, see how they're doing. Some guys are injured currently. We have a few guys that will come into camp injured. We have most of the guys seem extremely fit right now.
Yeah.
And excited to get ready. I mean, we start in 3 weeks. It'll be here before you know it. We're in preparing mode right now, so I'm updating our app. I'm getting things ready. We're, getting our GPS units all updated and equipment ready and storage shed sorted and organized and all the little things that you take for granted when you're here in the moment. We have to prepare for those things. So we're doing all of that right now.
Yeah, like you said, all the background pieces and elements. You said you've always had the ability to see what's coming ahead, to anticipate.
I tried to.
Yeah.
I don't always see it. Sometimes it hits me in the face, but I tried to.
But I'm gonna, as far as what is it natural talent, or is it like this innate ability, or is it taught? Is it something that you had to learn, or is it a marrying of the two to be able to anticipate? Is it innate? Is it taught? Is it both?
I think you always can get better at things that you put focus and time and practice in and reflection in. I think that's probably one of the harder qualities for players and coaches is to self-reflect. I taught a session once at a national convention, probably 15 years ago, maybe now, 10 to 15 years ago. And I interviewed a lot of players and asked them what makes a good coach. I asked coaches what makes a good coach. I asked every coach here at Binghamton. I asked all my colleagues. I must have interviewed over 50 coaches. What makes a good coach? I interviewed over 100 parents of our youth players. What makes a good coach? And I think that one of the things that I came away with was self-reflection was not a very high mark. We talk about what makes a good coach with players, and we look at literature that says why do players quit, and it's because they're not having fun anymore. That's one of the reasons. And the kids can have fun without us, right? They don't need coaches to have fun. So if you interfere with the fun that they're having, now you've taken away their fun. So they want to know if you are fun, not if what you're doing is fun. So in other words, are you enjoyable to be around? And I've always tried to make sure that I'm having fun as much as they're having fun. So I want it to be enjoyable. But this self-reference is something. So when we videotape, I don't always watch the players. I watch myself, my body language, our assistants, their body language, how we're interacting, how many positive moments can we have together in sessions. And then when we go and do video, are we showing them, can we show them somebody else doing it wrong, even though it's the same exact thing? And can we show them themselves when they're doing it right? I think that's a factor that we've changed over the years. We try to not show the players so much negative feedback as much as positive feedback. Probably 7 or 8 times more positive than negative.
And I think, you just saying that, I think that's a huge element, right? When you watch film, the mentality I think, of when film is being watched is, here's coach going to tell me everything that I've done wrong. You watch film to find out where you screwed up. And you flipped it and said probably 7 or 8 times more. We're showing, hey, here's the film. This is what you did right. This is what we liked. And yeah, let's work on this. But that positive reinforcement, it seems normal, right? It seems like that's something that people would want to hear, that it's going to have positive dividends if you're more positive with people. But it also seems atypical, Paul, that, you hear a coach say that. Normally it's like, we look at film, we're going to see where we screwed up, where we didn't hit this, where we missed this pass, we missed this ball, we didn't have the right look, we didn't get in the right, system that we were trying to run here, we didn't set up the play that we wanted to run. That's what I'm used to, right? That's what I'm used to hearing when a coach is talking about film. And like you said, you flipped the script and said, we're going to look at film and we're going to talk about a lot more positives than negatives. Saying why do you do that seems pretty simple, right? Because it's a positive thing and it's going to help the kids. But what made you look to doing something like that? Because I'm sitting here with you, a 21 plus year broadcaster, and you saying that to me is not something that I'm used to hearing. So what made you make that decision of saying, hey, you know what? If we positively reinforce and we still hit what needs to be worked on, but we do it in a different way and we give more positive than negative, we can change this thing for the better. What made you choose that as opposed to the typical coaching move of sit down, shut up, and I'm going to show you where you screwed up on this video?
I think everybody wants the same outcome, right? You want better performance. Some players, I had a player once when I was an assistant come in and talk to John McGrath, the late great coach that I played for and then coached with. He came in and he said, I'll never forget, Scott was like, Coach, I need you to swear at me more. I play better when you swear at me. And Coach looked right at him and he goes, yeah, that's not going to happen. So he was raised in that environment, right? So players who are coming in at 17, 18, 20, 23, 24 years old into our environment for the first time, they've already have tendencies in how they play, enjoyment in how they view a coach. They like this coach. So one of the questions I ask in the recruiting process is, what type of coach brings out your very best? And some of them truly might not even know yet. They might not even know what their best is yet.
Yeah.
I had, so early in my coaching career, my first, even as an assistant, I was around Tony because we were friends and we had played together. Well, he was a wrestler at West Virginia. I was a soccer player. But he is a sports psych guy. And we were in grad school and he went on and as we talked, I got him more involved with me as a coach. He didn't know soccer, but he knew coaching. He knew people interaction. So he would come into our team meetings and he would just listen to me speaking to the team, and then he would give me feedback. He was kind of the coach of coaches. So I've always had this person. Bill Bessick is one that has worked with our national coaching staff that I work with. And he's a world-renowned leader in coaching coaches. He was the assistant coach at Manchester United with the England national team. I mean, this guy's been at the highest of levels. And I used to get to spend a week or two with him a year for decades. And I get to call him friend. So I have these people who I would give me feedback. And Tony started by saying, don't tell them what you want them not to do. Tell them what you want them to do. Ask them what you want them to do. And he would tell me, and I learned a quick lesson, because I don't always get it right. I had my daughter when she was very young, Emily, near the stove. And I'm like, don't touch the stove. Don't, it's hot. And of course, 2 seconds later, we're in the bathroom and she's screaming under hot, because she touched it. She burned herself because I told her what not to do. And I think, we hear it all the time when coaches say to players, don't do this. I try to tell them more of what I want them to do, not what I don't want them to do. I treat the video the same way. I try to show them what we want them to do, not what we don't want them to do. Now, if somebody makes a technical mistake, how they do it, how they receive a ball, how they shoot a ball, I might send them a video clip privately. I just videotape on my phone. I get my phone, I screenshot it, send it to them privately and say, hey, let's talk about this a little bit more, trying to figure out what you were trying to do. That could be a tactical piece as well. The decision that they made, they were trying to play a ball into a certain area, or they were trying to do certain things, or maybe a position they took up, their starting position. Yeah. But I want to tell them more what to do than what not to do.
Well, and I think it's you're getting the same message across, but you're doing it in a positive way. You know,
Trying to.
Yeah. And I feel like there's a patience in soccer, and there's a dance in soccer that you really fall in love with. And I find myself saying this to people because I didn't grow up around it. And when I was a kid, they said, do you want to play basketball, baseball, or football? My mom said, if you play football, I will break every bone in your body before you get on the field, because she didn't want me to go out there. Basketball was fine, and that's my passion. And then baseball, my dad wanted me to try. I got hit by a wild pitch when I was in little league, and I was like, all right, Dad, I love basketball. But I said to my parents now, I said, I am 5'8". I am Italian and Hispanic. Why did you not let me touch a soccer ball? But back then, it was not spoken about as much. Lacrosse wasn't spoken about as much. So I got to learn the sport actually through dating. And when I was in college, I dated a girl who was an outside mid, and I just watched her play. I watched her train, and I respected her. I respected her craft and how she went about it. Her whole family played, two boys, 2 girls, and I got to just watch all the intricate parts of it. And then after watching them and then playing in the backyard, now I'm watching the game itself. Now I'm watching the MLS. Now I come to people, and when somebody says to me, oh, I hate soccer, it's boring, takes too long, whatever, it can end 0-0, I feel like nothing happened, I always challenge them to see more of the art of it, to see the things that I didn't see in the beginning. So to someone who's never seen soccer, what would you say to the art of the dance when they're like, why aren't you going forward? Why aren't you trying to score? Why are you, you crossed over half, why are you going back? The people that don't understand the chess over checkers element to it, to someone who doesn't know the sport, or would say to you, Paul, how can you even coach this thing? It's so boring. It takes such a long time. It can end 0-0. It can end 1-0. What would you say to somebody that comes at you that way? Because I feel like a lot of people in America, they want fast, but they don't understand that there's such a dance to soccer that to me is such a beautiful thing that no other sport really gives you.
I have a few thoughts. So the first is, you say the chess and checkers, and it's funny because there's a book that talks about soccer and chess in the book. I love to play chess. It's one of the things that we're putting in this year. We kind of used to do it, and now we went away from it for a while. So none of the players on the current team, we're going to teach them all how to play chess in preseason, and we'll have chess boards on the bus for them to play during away matches. My assistants, I got them now playing chess. They're pretty addicted to it. I play a lot with the Cortland coach, Steve Axtell. He's a good chess player. We talk about the similarities between soccer and chess. I'll be heading up there this week for a big camp. He runs a massive camp. And at the camp, we talk about that as well, about soccer and chess. But I think, so my wife is not a soccer player. She has fallen in love with the game. She has a favorite team, Real Madrid. Okay. We have 2 Christmas trees, a white Christmas tree, Real Madrid tree, that she makes 11 ornaments, her starting 11, they're players. She has 2 coaches on the tree, her 2 favorite coaches. I've yet to make the tree. And she has now probably 900 consecutive days in Duolingo. She's taught herself how to speak Spanish because she doesn't like the English commentators when she's watching La Liga, so she watches the game in Spanish. And I think that, if I was to say what changed for her, because she was a field hockey player, but she was raised on American football and loves the Giants, like the Mets too, ironically, in baseball. But those 2 sports have highs and they have in and out of time. So in between innings, in between pitches. So the ball is not in play for a lot. In basketball, the ball is in and out of play a lot, but there's a lot of timeouts. There's a lot of commercials. There's go to the foul line.
Mm-hmm.
And in soccer, the foul line, everybody doesn't come on a set piece because you could actually restart the ball right away, except if it's a penalty kick, right? Even corner kicks are taken shortly. So I think that it's one, how we were raised. We were raised in a more of a commercial type sport where there's timeouts, where they can fill that time with TV ads. In soccer, there really isn't that. That's kind of running on the bottom of the screen. But I would say this about soccer: what's the enjoyment part of it? If you try to put yourself in a situation where you see somebody doing something and you say, "Can you do that?" Like hitting a baseball. In Little League is when that curveball comes in, right? And if you can't hit it, then you probably get out of baseball. In soccer, if you see them do something, how they receive a ball, like a clean first touch, like receiving the ball on the move, if you're an attacking player, allows you to really threaten the opponent badly. So the better the player, the better you are receiving the ball on the move. A defending player, a player in the back half of the field, the better you are at passing the ball on the move, the higher the level the player gets. And of course, the art of defending is something completely that we kind of lose sight of. But the better you are at taking the ball away from the opponent, at a higher level, the better the player you are. And then the or do that. You know, you're thinking, get the ball wide, or do that. That worked too. You don't really get that in a lot, like the broken play in a quarterback when they have to scramble, and they're successful at it. You think, damn, that was awesome. That happens a lot in soccer because there's so many different decisions that a player can make on the ball. But yeah, I think that there's a lot of beauty in the game. And the more that you can appreciate individual skill and team collectiveness, 2 players beating an opponent, 3 players combining to beat an opponent, that'll help making the less goal scoring moments more enjoyable.
I thought that was great. I'm going to cut this and just take it and just hand it to everybody that says anything to me about soccer and why they don't watch. I thought that was amazing. And the fact that you are instituting chess into your team and going to have chessboards on the bus and have them really parallel this all the time. I think that's a story that I would love to tell, if you'll allow me to, throughout the season, to really, what that looks like at the beginning of the season and then what it looks like as we carry through the season. I think that, playing chess, practicing, playing in the games, I think all of that would be a really awesome overarching story to tell for sure. You brought up the team, and like you said, 2 people beating 1, 3 people beating 1. Well, when I look at this team coming from all over the world, I would love to just speak on recruiting and what you've done up to this point with you and your staff. We see the New Yorks and we see the Virginias and whatnot, but we've also seen Israel show up here, Jerusalem, Tel Aviv, Sao Paulo, Brazil, as well as seeing Jamaica. It's St. Anne, Jamaica that just came up here recently, Germany, England. We also have, I want to make sure I say this right, Renana, Israel. I'm going to try that one out. But, a lot of different places around the state of New York, around Virginia has been really big for you. But like I said, seeing Jerusalem, seeing Israel, seeing England, seeing Germany, seeing Brazil, seeing Jamaica, just bring me into, we know that soccer is universal. We know that there is talent all over the world. And this is one of the Olympic sports that we really can see a school anywhere in America really pull from any nook and cranny of this wonderful spinning rock that we're on. But when you look at the assembly of this team and what you've done recruiting wise, just what you can say to the mashup this year and just the why you went to certain places. I love seeing Israel and Jamaica just really stood out to me because I've seen a lot of countries, but I haven't really seen Israel a lot, and Jamaica is something that's atypical too. So I'd love to just know the story of this recruiting for 2025 and moving forward.
Well, Binghamton University is a state school. Academically, we can say we're the best, but the numbers show we're the best academic state institution right now. So we're going to attract New York kids already, right? Like a lot of New York students want to come to Binghamton University. So now, are they the right soccer fit for us? So we look in state first. In fact, we look locally. We coach in a youth club. So we're trying to get the best players within a 50-mile radius to play in our club. And now we have direct contact with them from a young age to they getting older. So we myself and Tommy Moon, my assistant, took our 2006-07 boys who won the state down to play at the regional event, which was held down in Virginia. And the two of us went out to dinner with our incoming and returning Virginia guys. I think there were 8 of us at dinner. And one of the things that we talk about with them is what attracts them to us. Well, it's all the same things that attract you if you live in New York. So now how do we get to that? Well, if you look at the landscape of Division I athletics and Division I soccer, men's soccer in particular, there's a massive influx of international players. And I think that, I'm wearing a U.S. kit. I think that it's affecting our national team in a way because the level of Division I soccer has improved drastically over the last 5 years. The level of play of the game, the sophistication of the game, the athleticism of the game is at an all-time high. But you then look at our conference and you see that, 70% of the players are international players. I mean, there are some rosters that it's almost 90% are international players. Albany a couple of years ago only had 5 New York players on their roster. And that's the state school in our capital. But that's the way Division I men's soccer is moving. So for us to be competitive, which we want to win, and we're playing in a conference that is outstanding. We have the national champion in our conference, which is, remarkable, right? It's probably the only sport in the Americas currently that can win a national championship. And it could have been we probably have 2 or 3 potential teams that could win a national champion in men's soccer. And I think that we're just trying to take what Binghamton has. So why Israel? Well, our diversity on campus is wonderful. So why Jamaica? Our diversity on campus is wonderful. So we're a Jewish community-friendly university and town. So Vestal and Binghamton are extremely friendly to the Jewish population. I think that, we had a player on our team last year, Maël from France, and he's recently graduating. And he took me to Halal Bites. I don't know if you've ever heard of this little restaurant. It's underneath, it's in between us and kind of Johnson City. Yeah. And I've driven past it. I've never stopped. But now we take the team there for dinner twice in preseason. And he knew more people than I gave him credit to. He's just that engaging type of guy. But he opened me up to a community that I didn't really know we had. And I've been down to the mosque. We've brought in some players. We had a couple of players, a Senegal player, a Cameroon player on campus last year visiting. They decided to go to a different institution, but I think that we have all walks of life here in Binghamton and on campus. And I just like the ones that are walking with a soccer ball. So to me, it doesn't matter where you come from. As long as you're good with a soccer ball at your feet, you want to do well academically, and you have a pretty good background academically that fits our profile, we'd love you to come here. And you got to be a good guy. Like we can't have any jerks on the team. We can't bring any bad apples in. So we try and do our homework. We try to figure out who you are. We talk to a lot of people about you. And I'm really excited about this group coming in. First, I'm really excited about the returning group. We've had Zoom calls over the summer that have blown me away. This is the best group I've had over the summer since I've been coaching. Not even close. The first Zoom call we had set the bar so high. We had our second call last week. We have another call next Monday. If that's any indication of how the group is going to come in 3 weeks, we'll be ready to start preseason, better than we ever have been.
And when you say that the best that you've had when it came to these Zoom calls, why? What is it about the returners and the
So
income?
we have a book club.
Yep.
This is the book they're reading.
Okay. Way of the Champion.
We've read the book before, so we read this book during COVID when we couldn't get with the team. But one of the great things about this book is there are 4 chapters that you can see. So the first 3 chapters, our guys are in leadership groups, equipment groups. We have 4 equipment groups, 7 guys in each group. There's a leader in each. The leader of that equipment group is in my leadership group. I meet with them on a regular basis. The first group, Will Mahoney, one of our captains, he presented. And the first thing he did was he gave an outline of the chapters that he was responsible for. And then he has a random name selector. He puts a button and he now calls out a player immediately. So the first meeting, if you didn't do the reading, you better think on your feet quickly. And you could tell that all of the groups had met with their group before our meet. So they were prepared. They showed that they were prepared. They met before we met as a team. They met individually with their 7 players, and they reviewed the readings and how it applied to them. And they told stories, and it was insightful. And then Ramsey had the next call, and he again did it his way, right? He didn't copy Will's. He did it his way. And the book kind of talks about how you basically apply the art of war and 5 rings to life and sport. It's the bar has been set very high. So I'm expecting when they come in that the bar has been set so high that they've done all their fitness work. And now when we come back in, the fitness bar has been set. The physical side of the game has been set very high. And then we'll see when we add a soccer ball if their technique has been set very high. So, but I'm very excited for us to get going.
I love this. And I love the thoughtfulness of how you coach. It just really goes a long way. So before we get into rapid fire, I'm going to ask you this because I've been itching to come down anyways because it's been a minute. But may I come down for when you start practicing and start getting things back together? Would you be open to me coming down and seeing the implementation of this and being around the team?
Whenever you want to come down. Hopefully none of the guys are going to hear this until later, but we're going to do something involving a car. I don't want to give too much away. We'll work it out. You should come down for that day.
Okay. Well, make sure. Yeah, make sure.
I there's a little risk element to it, so we're not 100% sold on it yet, but I'm 99% sold on it. I don't know how many of our guys have changed a car tire, so I'll share that with you. It'll involve that.
Okay.
They'll learn how to do that.
All right. Well, let's keep in touch because I would like to come down to see all that we've spoken about, but especially, like you said, you have something special coming up for the team. With that being said, Paul and I are going to play some rapid fire in this Bearcat Breakroom in our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with Binghamton University here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. Paul, you have the first question for me. You always make me think on my toes. I have no idea what you're going to say. What's your first question?
I can't take credit for this question because so this past summer I coached a USL2 team down in Delaware. So I traveled back and forth to Binghamton and Delaware.
Okay.
The USL2 is made up. I don't know, 17 or 18 of our players playing in the league. So I traveled a lot, took a lot of vacation days, but I had a wonderful experience. And one of my best friends in the game, Paul Payne, who is currently the president of the United Soccer Coaches, asked me this question.
Okay.
It's a kind of an interview question.
Okay.
So everybody asks you these things, but what is something about you unique that you've either experienced, that you've done, a sport you played, an instrument you played that people might not know about that would be really interesting?
I would say a lot of people know about my faith in God. Honestly, probably two things that really just speak back to my childhood and who I've always been. I love making people laugh, and I can do impressions, a lot of them. And so the last
Can I hear one?
Sure. So the last time that we recorded these down on paper, there were 47, but I will do Mickey Mouse. I feel like he's universal. So I'm going to need you to close your eyes. I want you to picture the mouse. Okay. But I will make sure that you know that this is me, because I will call you out by name. So here we go.
Oh, boy, who's my pal? Come here, Paul Marco, and let's play some soccer.
So that's
Wow.
But so I've been doing impressions most of my life and making people laugh. I would say the other part of me too that a lot of people don't know. A lot of people knew. I want to say people knew growing up as a kid, but I would say less people know now. And that is that I have been singing since age 3. And my grandfather sang. My mother has an immaculate voice. And so I've kind of created my own, and I've written over 40 songs. So
Wow.
I would say that's a part of me that a lot of people in the sports world don't know. And there's actually a Vanessa Carlton song. And I would walk, is it 100 miles or whatever it is, 100 miles or 1,000 miles? Whatever. So yeah, the song that she has, the piano and the guitar together, I actually created something that is almost exactly the same as the music that she uses in her chorus. And I created it a year before she did it, and I did it on a program. So whenever I hear that song, I always shake my head and I'm like, I can't believe that woman stole my music.
That's great.
But yeah, so I would say music and impersonations probably. So
Really
I'm
cool.
always working on more impersonations. I'm working on a few right now. So
Really cool.
thank you.
It's a good question, isn't it?
It is, because I mean, it helps you. It helps a person to be vulnerable and to, showcase who they are. But it helps people to get to know you and see another element to you. And it also asks you to not be afraid to share it. So I think there's a lot to tell me something that people don't know. My question back to you, Mr. Marco, is I have my own ice cream sundae and I have my own sandwich. So if you were to create a dish that is the Marco, what would it have on it and why?
When I was in West Virginia, there was a restaurant. We had restaurants around town that were athletic friendly, huge athletic friendly. And I had a dish named after me on a menu, and that would not have been my dish. Like, I didn't get to pick what it was. He just picked it. It was a cheeseburger of some kind.
Okay.
It would definitely be a pizza. I mean, I would let my kids and my family down if I didn't say pizza. I would probably design a pizza that had, I probably would put something unique on it. Italian sausage would definitely have to be on it. I might splash some meatballs on it, and then I would vary a vegetable around it, not with every bite.
Okay.
So with some bites you'd only have the sausage, with some bites you'd only have the vegetable. Probably peppers, sweet peppers.
Okay, sweet peppers, meatball, sausage. I can
Crisp pizza.
I love it. And crisp pizza, that is speaking my language very much so. What is your next question for me?
I want to ask you about your faith. Was there a moment that you recall in childhood, when you were a teenager, that moved you?
Yeah, there was a lot. I will say this. So, my grandfathers both passed away in 1992. I was 6. And one passed away. My mom's dad passed away the day I was supposed to be born. Obviously, 6 years later. I was supposed to be born on October 14th. I was born on October 21st. I still feel like God did that on purpose, that my grandfather's death and my birth were not on the same date. And so when I go back to that time of being 6 years old and going on 7 in 1992, their deaths shook me. It was the angriest I've ever been at God. I was lost. I was heartbroken. I was terrified. I was constantly having nightmares. And because it's kind of where the age where you learn about life and death and you don't really understand. So, and I thought they were going to be around to see me graduate college. I have an old soul. So when I was 6, I was thinking about college. It's still weird for me to think that, but I was. And I had a daydream. And I can literally paint this thing for you to this day, 32 years later. So I had closed my eyes. I was in my parents' room in the back of the house. And I closed my eyes and I saw this yellowish white light. And there was an oval in the upper left-hand corner that was cut out. And I remember I was seeing this all through my point of view. And I looked up at the oval and I was like, why is there an opening in the light? And then I turned like this and there's a rock, and the rock is smooth on top and underneath it it's all jagged. And on this rock that's rotating slowly, I see these elderly people. And I see this one gentleman who's in a wheelchair, and all of a sudden he gets up out of the wheelchair and he starts talking perfectly fine. And I realize this is my great uncle Bucky. When I had met him, and he passed away, I think, when I was 4, he was in a wheelchair, and he didn't really speak that well. He was in World War II. He was captured in Auschwitz. So I realized this is my Uncle Bucky. I saw someone who looked like my great Aunt Sue, but she is still alive to this day. So I did see someone on there look like her, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, if that's my great Uncle Bucky, and then I turn and I see my grandfathers, and they're right in front of me, and the light's behind them. And they said, hey, Daniel. And they were just looking at me. I could still feel it to this day. And they said, how are you? And they just were looking right at me like they were right at my face. And they said, we miss you. And then I saw God, and I saw Jesus standing at his right. And they said, see, we do love you. We weren't trying to hurt you. And then I went back to my grandfathers, and my grandfather said, we love you. We miss you. And they blew a kiss to me. And then I turned back and I saw the rock, and now my grandfathers were on this rock. And all of a sudden everybody's talking and walking on this rock. The rock stops moving. Everybody turns to their left. They look up at the opening. The rock shoots up into the opening and it completes the oval perfectly. The light flashes and I woke up. And I had realized in that moment that I had witnessed my ancestors going to heaven. I had spoken with my grandfathers. Jesus and God came to me personally to help me fix my broken heart and to let me know that it wasn't an attack on me and it wasn't personal. And it was in that moment that I began my healing. And I can still see that to this day, 32 years later.
When you're telling this, you're telling me, I feel you feeling every moment of it. You're reliving it.
Yeah, 100%. Right in my chest. Right in my chest. Yeah, I'm trying not to cry, but yeah, it's
a great story. I mean, it's great how much clarity you have in it too.
Well, I will tell you that. So Saint Daniel, and for those that read the Bible, and I could do far better of a job in doing this myself, Saint Daniel is an interpreter of dreams. And God would send him visions, and they would terrify Daniel at times. They would scare him. He didn't understand. and God was speaking to him, trying to tell him what was coming. And the book of Daniel connects to the book of Revelation. I have not told anybody this because it happened last night. Literally nobody. God knows and I know. But now the world's going to know, and you're going to know, Paul. But I had a dream last night, and I feel very connected to St. Daniel because I've had premonitions. I've stood in a place where I can tell people for the next 10 to 12 seconds I know everything that's going to happen, and then I don't. And I had a dream last night about the end of the world, and it was a lot of figurative pieces to it. It was experiencing it, but it was also confusing. And so when I look at St. Daniel and then I look at my life and that name, I saw the end of the world last night in my dreams and how things would be broken up and what's going to happen. But it was told to me in such a way that was very whimsical and kind of like a fantasy movie. But yet I woke up this morning thinking to myself, there's a message in there and you have to catch it. So I had one of those very realistic dreams last night, and it's kind of, it won't leave my head. And when I finish the show this morning, I'm going to try and write down as much as I can, but it's given me chills, not in a scary way, but in a very like, there are things that are going to happen and you need to write down what you saw because you need to remember it. So yeah, I mean, God and I have a very deep connection. And just to kind of hit on another point, my dad and I went to Italy and we went to the Sistine Chapel, and we walk in and they tell you you can't have any, you can't take any pictures, no video, nothing. So I walked in, there's a ton of people, and I told myself, you're going to walk straight, you're going to get to the middle of the room, and then you're going to look up. I don't want you looking up until you get to like the middle of the room, because I wanted to get a good spot. I wanted to be able to see everything. So I was looking for my dad, found my dad, and I get there. I get to the middle of the room for whatever reason. Again, my relationship with God is the only way I can explain this. I turn to my right. I look straight up. I had no idea that he was even drawn in this room. Where I had walked to in the room, unbeknownst to me, turned around and looked straight up, I was directly under St. Daniel.
Wow.
And I was just like, par for the course, God.
Of course, right, of course.
I was like, obvious. I was like, I didn't even know he was here, but
Right.
but obviously. And so, yeah, I've had a lot of those moments. My last question for you, Paul, is going to be to bring that back to you, because faith is so important to me and compels me to be everything that I am and is in every fiber of my being. Is there a story of your faith that you can go back to right now that you feel like really instilled in you your trust in God and who you are today?
So I was, my dad's side of the family is all Italian Catholic. My mom's side of the family is English, Dutch, and Methodist.
Okay.
My parents divorced when I was young, so we were raised Methodist. I actually sang sang is generous, because I can't really carry a tune. I carry stuff more than I carry a tune. Objects are easier for me to carry than a tune. So I sang in the choir, and I remember more community than faith as a child.
Okay.
My grandparents were heavily into the church, but they did stuff. They were servants of the church, so they cooked, and we went to every community thing we could think of. We were at. Masses were held. I remember morning masses outside when the weather was nice, sunrise mass in the morning. And so my early childhood was still faith-based. I still believed in God, but it wasn't until I met my wife and her family. We have raised our kids Catholic. Her family's faith was just, I would say, just at a different level than mine. My family believed in God. Her family, they went to church every week. I then went to church every week. I would say that it was more in college, late college, my senior year, probably where it made the most influence in me. So it wasn't really until maybe my junior, senior year in college that I really felt a connection. And then I met a professor at West Virginia named Dr. Zeitz, who everything he did was faith-based. So he had this book, we read, The Total Release Performance, where everything that you did was in the name of Jesus Christ. I then started to work with the fellow Christian athletes at West Virginia. And that's probably where my journey became, and my faith became the strongest. And I would say that it has not wavered on the inside, but it certainly has wavered on the outside. I don't attend church as regularly as I probably should or could. I'm busy all the time. I just don't make that time. But individually, one-on-one, I'll go through moments where I will read the Bible. My brother moved religions into the Mormon religion when he met his wife, and I read a little bit of that because I wanted to try to understand my brother better. And so I would say that and now having, all walks of life on campus here, I'm very open to other religions. I still have my own personal beliefs. I don't try to push them onto anyone or move anyone, but I give everyone time. So Mael, speaking of Mael, he had to come to training late because he wanted to go pray at 1, and train started at 1. So I let him come late to training on Fridays, whenever he wanted. But most of the time it was on a Friday. He wanted to be late. So he would go and pray and then come to training around 1:35. But I hear what you're saying, and I do think I've had some of those moments. Certainly after my wife has been a very good influence on that, for sure. For sure.
I love that, and I appreciate that. And I always talk about finding someone who's equally yoked. And so the fact that your wife brings that out in you is obviously a good sign and a good thing. And congratulations for finding it in this crazy, wacky world. Paul Marco here with us, Bearcat Breakroom. Paul's season will happen very soon. August 21st is right around the corner for Binghamton University men's soccer. We look forward to you seeing them on the pitch, on the road, and at home at the Bearcat Sports Complex. And for those of you here in Central New York, it's only an hour away. And of course, as always, Paul, I appreciate the time. I look forward to seeing you. I will be down at a practice, and I would love, like you said, to be a part of this new challenge that you will have for the team.
For sure.
But thank you. I mean, honestly, our conversations are always multi-layered, very thoughtful, and, it always compels me to say to myself, I should speak with Paul more. So let's make sure that we do that. And
definitely.
Thank you as always for your time, Paul. I really do appreciate the fact that I have
Enjoy.
the opportunity to talk with you. Take care.
Yep.
I'll talk to you soon. See you. That coming from Paul Marco here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. We appreciate having Paul here on the broadcast and all of our Bearcats here on Wake Up Call every Tuesday during Bearcat time, Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern time. We thank the Bearcats for being here with us and, of course, for our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership. We are going to take a step aside here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and when we come back, we'll have our final piece of today's broadcast, that being what rounds out every Tuesday, the ingredients to success, proudly presented by the wonderful team at Avicolli's on 7839 Oswego Road in Liverpool, New York. Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is here inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. Stay with us.
Hi, this is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating at 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday in-store and always online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, order anywhere, anytime at maandpaspopcorn.com. Stop in to get a tin at Ma and Pa's on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York to get your half-price refills for the rest of your life. Come to Ma and Pa's for your holiday gift giving for family, friends, employees, and clients. And remember, for fundraising and events, to call 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily, and we bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand butter chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have in any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
Here's a message from Renee from Bryan's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York. Open Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and Sundays for brunch.
It's a lot like the way that my mom and dad ran their restaurant. We have put in place a lot of people that are family to us, very similar to how my dad hired people that were family to him. And then the tradition I'm carrying on is a lot of the items that are on our menu are my dad's. And he taught our chefs how to recreate his dishes. So I think that Tommy McInerney, who our executive chef is, to him it is an art. And I think that when he does create a dish, it's not just about making the food taste delicious, which is definitely our priority, but it's an art to him, and it's almost like his canvas on a plate where he just wants the colors to look great, and people love it because he takes pride in that. And Brian and I appreciate that. We want it to obviously look good and taste good. I will tell you, when we opened up, it was 6 weeks before COVID. And what was amazing was the community, our friends and family stepped up, and everybody did takeout. Everybody supported us. Our hearts were just so filled. So to Brian and I, obviously our friends come all the time, and we just have repeat customers in Jamesville, and I think people going to our previous restaurant in Green Lakes are making the trip to come to Bryan's Landing to support us. And I mean, I think we have great food and a great atmosphere. So it's very, very important to us.
Head to Bryan's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York, where memories have become recipes that are now meals to share with you. Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and on Sundays for brunch. And be sure to come out for live music Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Life gets busy, and sometimes that means us running around. So Canine Camp Dog Daycare offers you an opportunity to give your dog a place to stay while you take care of what you need to throughout the day. Canine Camp Dog Daycare is located on 228 Old Bridge Street in East Syracuse, New York. You can see it from the highway, and it's just off of Erie Boulevard across from BJ's Wholesale Club. Call 315-437-7110. That's 315-437-7110 to schedule an appointment to bring your dog in and tour the facility. Appointments are Monday through Thursday after 6:30, where you and your dog can see everything that Canine Camp Dog Daycare has to offer, including a self-serve dog wash and a retail store filled with all of your dog's wants and needs, including food, treats, harnesses, leashes, and more, making Canine Camp Dog Daycare your one-stop shop for your furry loving friend. Right, Lily?
And a welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. We appreciate you being here every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time, and beyond that here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. So as we are here inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, it is now time for our final piece of today's broadcast. And of course, every Tuesday, we round out the show the same way. So here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, our final piece for today will be the ingredients to success. The ingredients to success is proudly presented by Avicolli's, coming to you every single Tuesday, and the ingredients to success coming from a place that knows successful ingredients, and I cannot thank them enough for all that they do. And they've just been a tremendous place in our community for decades. They care about people and they work so diligently. So I can't say enough about Avicolli's and everything that they bring to the table. I truly appreciate working with them. I want to thank John Fratto, the Avicolli family, and everybody at Avicolli's for the work that they do. We love being there every single month with Liverpool Athletics. And of course, we always appreciate the fact that we can send you there 7 days a week for lunch, dinner, and drinks. As always, drink only if you're of age and drink responsibly. So big time thanks to Avicolli's as we bring you the ingredients to success on today's broadcast of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, with our topic being your inner voice. Your inner voice is as simple as that, right? But at the same time, we're looking at the fact that your inner voice is such an incredible thing. And it's such a beautiful thing. It's such a powerful thing, your inner voice is. And we have to know that. We have to learn that. How incredibly strong and important your inner voice is. Because how you speak to yourself, that affects you. It's something that you need to be aware of in your life. That how you decide to talk to yourself is going to affect how you treat yourself. It's going to affect what you think of yourself. That inner voice is so delicate. And so oftentimes we let the world have control of our inner voice. We don't let our inner voice be from us. We let it be from criticism, accolades, right? People think so highly of us, we get a big head. People think so lowly of us, we think we're terrible. Do we take the time to really understand how powerful that inner voice is? And I can speak to you from my history. I can speak to you from my experience. I took my inner voice and I made it negative. It spoke the words of bullies. It had the negativity of people that did not value me. I let that speak to me. I let that become my inner voice. I let that be the thing that I heard. My voice was saying their words. My voice was acting in the way that they were acting and treating me. I had turned my confidence into negativity. I had turned that positivity, that goodness that is supposed to be your inner voice, I had turned it into what other people had said to me and done to me. And constantly felt like I wasn't enough. And it was in not having control of my own inner, or thinking I didn't have control of my own inner voice. That was my crossroads. When I said to myself, well, you know, I have all these negative thoughts. I wonder who's controlling them, because it's not me. And I grew up thinking to myself that I did not have power over my own inner voice. I thought this voice was sent in here and I couldn't control it, right? And, you know, the devil's trying to talk to you and bring you down, and you can't push it out. You can't get rid of it. It's just always there. Until you realize it's not the devil's voice, it's your own voice. And you have allowed your voice to be manipulated. You have allowed what other people have said and done to you to be the way that you speak, to see yourself through the eyes of those that do not have the best intentions, that do not wish the best for you. And that's when I got lost. And it took a long time. And it's a long, long, long road. Because when you start thinking poorly of yourself, and you allow those negative words from other people to invade you, you lose what you love about yourself, what you know about yourself. See, we think that inner voice, like I said, when it's negative, we think someone else is controlling it. The actuality is we are in control of it. And we've allowed it to change. See, people could say whatever they want to say and do whatever they want to do, but we have to either allow that to come in or keep it out. It is up to us to make that decision. It's not up to anybody else to make that decision for us. It is up to us to make that decision. And shame on us when we allow other people's negative words and jealousy and hate and disrespect to invade how we talk to ourselves. That inner voice, some people say that inner voice, it's so mean to me. It's so mean to me, Dan. My inner voice hates me. And they fight with it like a demon, instead of realizing that if your inner voice is negative, it's just a distorted voice of you that you have allowed to change. You know, there's the movie The Flash, where the Flash keeps trying to change something bad that happened. So he keeps running back in time and tries to change it. And every time he goes back, he's getting scars from going back. And there's like all these different things that are kind of just like attaching to him. And he keeps going, he keeps going, he keeps going. And he becomes a monster. He becomes a monster to himself. He doesn't even look like himself anymore, doesn't sound like himself anymore. He's lost his humanity. He's lost his kindness. He's lost his just essence, because he kept trying to change something that was bad. You know, he kept trying to change history. He kept trying to go back, and I feel like we do that so often. And I'm not saying don't try to change things that aren't good. I'm not that's not the message. It's we can't go to the past. And even if we could we actually change it? And if we change it, what does that create? The Flash character asked the question, if we had the power to change the past, do we use it? And if we use it, what are the repercussions? What is the ripple effect? You know, we don't like going through pain, but will we be who we are without adversity? No. Well, how do you know that, Dan? Because I wouldn't be who I am without adversity. I wouldn't have finished the golf game that I had yesterday the way I finished if I hadn't looked at how I started, how I felt, what I was allowing to seep into me, how my inner voice was diluted and changed and disrupted, and how I needed to change it back. Adversity builds character. Adversity builds who we are. The truth. You can't look at David and saying, well, thank God he fought Goliath because Lord knows I can't. God is going to give us all a Goliath. Sometimes it will be physically right in front of us. Sometimes it might be something that you can't even see. But we will all face a Goliath in some way, shape, or form. We all are called to be heroes. We are all called to stand up for what is right, not some of us. Well, Dan, the Avengers, I love watching comic book movies. Those Avengers are so strong. You know, most of those we talk about Hawkeye. He doesn't have any special powers. He has a gift from God that he practiced and he honed and became great at. Black Widow, she trained. Iron Man, he used his mind. And he believed in himself. A lot of those characters do not have superpowers. They were courageous. They took their God-given talent and they worked on it. They worked with it. Stop thinking that a superhero is simply just injected with serum or is far, far away. Not all of us will be bit by a radioactive spider. Not all of us will have gamma radiation flow through our bodies and live through it. Not all of us will have a super soldier serum or a hammer that can control lightning. But we can use our minds. We can use our hearts. We can use our God-given talents. We can train and hone those skills. We can become the best version of ourselves. And the best superheroes that I know are the people that help others without asking for anything. They give. The ones that sing and you can feel their soul. The ones that paint and you can jump right into that painting. The ones that can coach and you can see them decades later and you just want to hug them and not even say anything because the hug is going to speak for you. Heroes are all born through strife. Iron Man almost died and created something to keep the shrapnel out of his chest. Black Widow became so tactically skilled after being tortured. Hawkeye lost his entire family at the snap of a finger. And he lost his way after that. And it was his friends who helped him to hear his inner voice again. No hero has ever been born or etched into history without strife. It's what makes us who we are. We have to go through pain. We have to go through adversity, or else we have no idea who we really are. So that inner voice that you have, that inner voice is the thing that compels you to be the best that you can be. It's that thing that is asking you to hear it, but you're in control of what it's saying and how it's saying it. It's one of the things that I had to learn when I thought, man, I can't control my thoughts. I can't control what I'm saying to myself. I can't control how I feel. This is something that's just with me all the time. And I can't shake it. I thought that. I genuinely thought to myself, I have no control over my inner voice. What it says, what it does, when it attacks. And then you have to realize that inner voice, it's inside of who? You. That's yours. Once you realize that the voice inside of you that you think is speaking so many bad thoughts and having so many bad feelings and just ripping you out from the inside, when you realize that that voice is your responsibility, it's you, that's when you can start becoming the true hero of your life. Is realizing that the voice you hear in your head is you. And yeah, there's things that happen. There's people that hurt us. There's people that we date. There's people that we're friends with. There's people that bullied us. There's people that are in our family that say and do things that distort that voice. But you have control over that. There was a time before they said or did that thing where your voice didn't say or do that stuff. And instead of running back in time like the Flash, disrupting reality, creating a branch timeline and changing everything, we don't have to run backwards to look back to the past and say, there was a time before this happened where I did not feel this way, or I did not feel this pain, or I did not think of myself like this. Before my dad said this to me, I never thought this of myself. Before I dated this girl, I never once viewed myself in this manner. Yes, people say things that hurt and people do things that hurt. But there was a time before that where that was not a part of our lives. And you don't have to take on all of this negativity that you experience. You have to remember that God made you clean of spirit. And yes, things will happen to you throughout your life, but God never said, pick up all the soot and wash yourself in it, bathe in the dust and the dirt and the grime. He's never said that. He said, walk through the sludge and come out better. Deal with the dust and face it. But he never said to wear it. He never said to let it consume you. And the last time I checked, there's nowhere in the Bible where God said, I want you to walk about your life whistling, having a great time. And once you step into quicksand, I want you to just let yourself get consumed by it until you eventually are underneath it and gone. God has never told you to stand in quicksand and accept. Quicksand is happening to you, but you do not have to succumb to it. Quicksand is something that you cannot control and you did not anticipate nor expect, but you can respond to it. What person would stand in quicksand and go, all right, well, I guess I'm going to die, and then just slowly watch their body go under until the quicksand fills their lungs and gets inside their mouth and nose and eyes, and they're completely gone? No, anybody that steps into quicksand wants to immediately jump out of it. And the longer you're in it, the harder it is to get out. So I challenge you today that when that inner voice starts speaking so negatively, so poorly towards you, to remember that that voice is something that you control. That voice is your voice. And if you don't like what it's saying, then you have the right to change it. You have the power to change it, and you're the only one that can make that decision and actually change it. You can talk to a therapist, but she cannot change it, or he cannot change it for you. You ultimately have to decide who you want to be, what you're willing to accept, and what that voice inside of you is going to say and do. It is no one else. And the reality of it all is, the sad truth of it all is, the people that come and they hurt you and do horrible things to you, and you don't understand this and you don't understand that, those people have probably forgotten. They don't even know that they hurt you. The person that cut you off in traffic and you thought about it all day today, they probably have no idea what you look like, what you sound like, or that what they did even had an effect on you. They've gone about their lives. They've already cut somebody else off, and it's on to the next one. The people that you will, and this can help me and it can help you by knowing the words I'm about to say. Because you can take it as a negative or you can take it as a positive. The people that hurt you have already moved on to hurting the next person or hurting themselves. They could care less about hurting you. It could matter less that they hurt you because they are already on to the next one. They might not even know that they hurt you. It might not even have crossed their mind that they've done anything to you in any way, shape, or form. If they're narcissistic, they don't think they did anything wrong. So they might already be cheating on the next person, lying to the next person, punching the next person, yelling at the next person, swearing at, undercutting, and disrespecting the next person. And here you are sitting here saying, woe is me. I can't believe this person would do this to me. And the reality of it all is they may not even care. It may not even faze them. It may not even be on their mind. And they may already be on to the next person. So the person that you're allowing to let you see poorly of yourself, the person that you're allowing to hurt you and disrespect you and push you down and ruin your life, might be a person that doesn't even know that they hurt you, doesn't even care, and is already on to hurting the next person. You are not that important to that person. And that's a really tough thing to hear. And it's a really tough thing for some people to take in. But the people that you have allowed to affect your inner voice the most and have a loft apartment inside of your brain might not even know they hurt you, might not even care that they hurt you. You might not be on their mind. You might never have been on their mind once. That person that was so evil, that said so many things and did so many things to you, and then y'all broke up and you thought to yourself, how could they do this, that, and the third? That person might not even have thought twice about you. So why would you allow your life, your inner voice, your essence to be affected by someone who doesn't even think about you, doesn't even care about you, doesn't even know who you are? So many of us let total strangers, faceless, classless, rude people disrupt our day. And they've already gone on to the next one. 99.9% of people that screw you over have done it or will do it to someone else or doing it right now. How do I know that? Because I've experienced it. I've had people do me dirty. And down the line, somebody comes up to me and says, hey, don't ever do business with this person. They just screwed me out of money. Hey, this person's ridiculous. This person overprices things. This person. And I'm just sitting there listening, and these people have no idea I dealt with this person, no idea that this person screwed me over. And I just listen. And I shake my head and I go, you know, God, I couldn't figure out why me. And it wasn't me. It could have literally been anybody. Because look at how they treated this person. Look at how they treated that person. The people on social media that you don't know, those people all day long are commenting on things. You're not the only person that they've attacked. You're not the only person they're going to attack. They might attack 3 people in a minute. So it is about protecting your inner voice, an ingredient to success in life. Protect your inner voice. Do not let the negativity and the disruptive nature of other people jump inside of you and take you over. Do not let your inner voice be the voice of somebody else. And I'm not saying don't hold yourself accountable. I'm saying don't speak poorly to yourself. What did Paul Marco say? He said, when we look at film, when we sit somebody down and talk about what's going on, we say 7 or 8 times more positive things than negative things. You don't have to be a narcissist and say, you don't do anything wrong. You say, here's all the things you've done right. Here's the things that I'd like you to work on. People love positivity. Nobody wants, and I'm thinking about it now, how many arguments I've had in relationships where somebody was doing something that was really hurting me and I harped on it. And I didn't say, hey, I love that you cook. I love that you are here when I get home. I love that we spend so much time together. I love how you hold my hand in public. I love that you're not afraid of that. I just want to talk about how you treat me in this scenario. I never started off with, here's all the things you do great, and here's something that I really just want to work on together. I started the conversation off by saying, I can't believe that you let this happen. And now talking to Paul Marco this morning, I'm like, I could have done better. Because all that person heard was, you're a bad person, you're failing, you're screwing up, you're not doing anything right. Instead of hearing, here's all the things that you do and I love. I just want to figure this thing out. Because if you approach somebody with negative, how are you supposed to get anything good out of that? Do you want somebody to talk to you like that? Would you want someone to come up to you and say, hey, you are such a problem. I absolutely hate this thing about you. Not everybody can handle that. And a lot of people are going to be defensive. But it's the art of saying, hey, I value you, I care about you, you matter to me, and I just want to figure this out. I just want to work on this thing. I want this thing to stop happening. And that's speaking to your inner voice as well. That's you talking to yourself. Daniel, I love you. I love your passion. I love that you chase your dreams. I love that you don't take no for an answer, that you exhaust all possibilities and do everything that you possibly can. You're not afraid to explain something. You're not afraid to put yourself out there. No matter how many times you hear no, you're always fighting for the next yes. Every time something good happens, you want to create more good. You love creating. You love being unique. You love being original. You love every single day, bringing something new to the world. You love seeing people smile. And now I just need you to be on time. I just need you to be a little nicer to yourself, right? I told myself all these things that I love, and here's a few things that I want myself to work on. Stop thinking that your inner voice is against you when it is you. Your inner voice is only against you because you've allowed it to be. You've chosen to speak that way to yourself. There are enough people in this world that will try to be your enemy, that will try to bring you down. Do not be one of them. There are enough people from the outside will try and hit your fortress. Don't let your biggest fight inside your fortress being a fire you set inside of the fortress yourself. In order to prepare for the world, you have to be peaceful at home. That inner voice, who you are, how you talk to yourself, cannot be setting a fire, cannot be negativity. It has to be goodness. It doesn't mean that you don't hold yourself accountable. It means you don't start fires with inside of yourself. Fires will be started from the outside, no matter what you do. Mother Teresa had people that hated her, I'm sure. Could just be that she was Catholic. We don't like Catholics. We don't like her. Who does she think? She can come in here to our country and help us to do this, that, and whatever. We're fine without her. How does she get to be a saint? I should be a saint. Right? Mother Teresa might have done nothing wrong, but people might just hate Catholicism, not know God, or be jealous. And that could change the way that people saw her without even knowing her. I just want you to keep something in mind today when you're going about your life. There will be enough pitchforks outside. There will be enough fires started outside of your home. Why would anyone ever set a fire to their own house? Why would anybody try to burn from the inside? And once you think about that and you know that, you'll realize your inner voice is your control. And that inner voice can either be a peaceful couch to lie on after a long day, or it can be a battlefield. Do not echo the hate spoken by other people. And fully understand that most people that treat you poorly don't even care. So you caring and spending all this time on what they said and did to you, when they're already on to the next person, hurting the next person, cutting the next person off, cheating on the next person, lying to the next person. Most of the people that treat you poorly do not care. Because if they did, they wouldn't do it. So you caring and spending so much, you caring about what they did. I'm not saying don't be a caring person. Absolutely be a caring person. But you caring and spending so much time on what they did. You're ruining your life for a person who just starts fires and runs away. You have to be the fire extinguisher, not the match. Remember that. And love yourself. Stop waiting for somebody else to love you. Your inner voice. God's got you. You got you. Remember that. This comes to you from Avicolli's, a fantastic place here in our community. Make sure you head out to Avicolli's today and every day of the week for lunch, dinner, and drinks. And because it's so nice outside, we're here in the summer, you can eat outside in their beautiful patio that's surrounded by flowers. And of course, you have the casual pizza side, the fine dining side, and the bar. You can also call them for catering, takeout, and delivery at 315-622-5100. That's 315-622-5100. And of course, you can order online at myavicollis.com. That's myavicollis.com. Make sure you get in touch with them today. Let them know that DT sent you, and go and visit them for lunch, dinner, and drinks, 7839 Oswego Road in Liverpool, New York. With that being said, I want to thank you for tuning in up and down the East Coast, the Midwest, the West Coast, and all around the globe on YouTube.com and Facebook.com, both /WakeUpCallDT, as well as on WakeUpCallDT.podbean.com, Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And, of course, finding us on Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, Player FM, Podbean, Podchaser.com, Podvine, Spotify, TuneIn, and YouTube. All you have to do is search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. Big time thanks to our North Carolinian listeners and those that visit North Carolina, and we appreciate you so very much. Brooklyn Pickle, Southern Pines, 1788 Old Morganton Road in Southern Pines, North Carolina. Make sure you visit them today. Let them know that DT sent you that way for fantastic sandwiches that you will not find anywhere else. Go and get your sandwich today at Brooklyn Pickle down in Southern Pines, North Carolina, right down the road from Pinehurst Golf Course. And of course, many thanks to our team of partners here in Central and Upstate New York: Great Lakes, Honda City, Carvel, DeWitt, the Wildcat Sports Pub, Bryan's Landing, Canine Camp, Dog Daycare, Mother's Cupboard, Ma and Pa's, the snack capital of the world, Canine Campground Dog Boarding, Pizza Man, GG Cards and Breaks, Avicolli's, Chick-fil-A Cicero, and of course we are the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your Lemoyne College Dolphins, Bryant and Stratton College Bobcats of Syracuse, and Binghamton University Bearcats. You'll find your Dolphins every Wednesday during Dolphin Time at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, and you'll find the Bearcats every Tuesday, like today, at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. And of course, you can find all of our content for all of these schools by going to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell, and find our Lemoyne playlist, our BSC Syracuse playlist, and our Binghamton playlist. Each of these schools is on wakeupcalldt.com's homepage and underneath the exclusive partners tab. For more information, go to LemoyneDolphins.com, Syracuse.bscbobcats.com, and BinghamtonBearcats.com. I want to thank you for tuning in to today's show inside of the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. Big time thanks to Ma and Pa's, the snack capital of the world. Go and see them on 201 Old 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. And of course, you can visit them anywhere by going to maandpaspopcorn.com. So all my listeners and viewers that are outside of Central New York, you don't have to miss out on any of these awesome tastes for all of the wonderful things that they offer you. It is a taste bud parade, in my opinion, for sweet and savory. Go to maandpaspopcorn.com. Big time thanks to Antonio Costa joining me from Brazil, and of course, being a member of the Bobcats. Can't wait for this 2025 season for him and his teammates, led by Stu Flaherty, to go out and have some fun, and we look forward to seeing you on the pitch here in Syracuse and beyond. And of course, many thanks to Paul Marco and the Binghamton University Bearcats, his men's soccer program, spending time with the head coach, Paul Marco, and we look forward to seeing you down in the southern tier, about an hour here from Syracuse, and my people watching and listening from Binghamton, right around the corner, Johnson City, Vestal, all in that area. Go and see them at home and on the road. Support your Bearcats. And of course, go to Avicolli's and support them, and support your taste buds, and support that hunger that you have. So enjoy some lunch at Avicolli's today. We look forward to talking with you, of course, 24/7, Facebook at WakeUpCallDT, X at CallDT, Instagram at WakeUpCall_DT, and on WakeUpCallDT.com. For now, from inside of the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, as always, I say God bless, no stress, do your best. This is Dan Tortora. We will talk soon. Thanks to Antonio and Paul. Thank you to you. Have a beautiful day, and God bless you. Take care of yourself, and take care of that inner voice.